All right, now what we're going to go over is the careers section terminology. So the way I'm going to do this is I've gone to the Avengers Infinity War page on IMDb, and what we're going to do is go to full cast and crew, and we're going to look up all of these terms. Now, this is a movie, so a couple of these may not apply. UX designer, may not quite apply, and I actually looked for creative director and I only found director. So we're going to go over graphic designer, storyboard artist, illustrator, and animator, since those are listed in the crew. So if I look up graphic designer, lead graphic designer, Susan A. Burrig, and there's also lead graphic designer, Tina Charad. So as you can see, if I look up designer, there's actually, it looks like there's 4 graphic designers in a film. They would basically be responsible for anytime like there's a sign in the background, or if they have to make up some sort of a fake brand or packaging, that would be the job of the graphic designer. Now we have storyboard artist, and that is Darren Denlinger. And the storyboard artist basically figures out, they draw pictures. They basically draw a comic book of the movie to help everyone in the crew to visualize how it's going to look in terms of its layout, in terms of the sequence of shots. And so they're basically they're getting everyone to be imagining the same thing together. So next is illustrator. There's concept illustrator, Rodney Fuentebella, and a concept illustrator is someone who is very similar to a storyboard artist. The storyboard artist is almost like the UX designer of the movie. They're designing the sequence of images, like how one shot goes from one to the next. Concept artists, they deal more in the way things are going to look in terms of the lighting, in terms of the color, in terms of the texture, in terms of style. They kind of help decide all of that. And then we have animators. Since this has so much special effects, there's going to be tons of animators. As you can see, there are 148 animators on this production, and they likely have multiple animation studios. You can see Weta Digital is one of the animation studios. Double Negative is another animation studio. Method Studios is another one. Cantina Creative is another one. ILM, so they just had tons and tons and tons of animators working on this film. And then UX UI designers. I'm going to talk about IMDb in terms of its UX UI. So that would be basically figuring out how to make this website the most user-friendly. They are doing a lot around adding a lot of specialization, custom graphics and video and textures for these big budget movies. So you can see Deadpool has its own unique styling and textures and colors and graphics. Even up here, they replaced the IMDb. So a UX designer was probably responsible for or consulted for coming up with ways to make each page more engaging. They were probably responsible for what shows up on the homepage, and a lot of this is determined by their tracking people's behaviors. So they're tracking all the visitors and what pages they're going to and what they're clicking on the most, and they're taking all that data and they're informing how they lay the site out in order to best serve their users, which in turn is then going to get more people to visit the site, which is then going to drive ad revenue and build the trust of all these film production studios. So that is the careers section.